Hi everybody, welcome to Voyages of Totika. I don't know what episode or season we're on
Episode
here.
5.
Episode 5? Alright, episode 5. We're 5 episodes in.
Yay.
And we are finally going to be getting on some boats.
It's about time.
Yeah. Today is the first boat we looked at. It was a 2012 Lagoon 500. And we've got some video and photo and some ideas that we like and dislike, and we're just gonna go through the boat and see why it works or why it doesn't work and what our thoughts are. And if you guys have any input on Lagoon 500s, please let us know in the comments, because I've never bought a catamaran, so this is a first for me.
Yep, we've only sailed tall ships and monohulls. We're looking for a 5-cabin catamaran. This was a 4-cabin. We just wanted to see the layout.
Right. This was available nearby and would give us a general idea of what lagoons were about without having to get on planes and travel to any of the ones that we're actually looking for.
Right. And if we even liked it, you know?
Right.
So here goes.
The first thing I noticed as we're walking up to this boat is how high the boom is off of the water. Which was an immediate concern of mine. Sailing around the Caribbean shouldn't be a big deal. Charter boats and you're on there for a week, not a huge deal. But if you're looking to cross oceans and have big ocean passages, when you do get caught in a storm once in a while, and hopefully we don't, the access to the boom and the sail is a big deal in a heavy blow.
The cockpit's a little small for me.
Yeah.
I mean, he says there's a table that's supposed to be there, but there's only one entry into the cockpit.
What I like about this boat, it has an interesting layout. You've got a really big nav station here. One of the things that helped Lagoon become what it is today is right in back of me, namely this panorama, these vertical windows. And the result is you have bigger salon, so you're maximizing volume.
Right.
And you don't need to bother with tinting windows. And it just, you have good visibility. It's like you get lots of light and you don't get a whole lot of heat. You have the panel for the water maker in back.
I like the stove.
4-burner stove is nice.
Yep.
Oven's a decent size.
I like the sink.
Yep,
The sink and the strainer there.
That's good. Nice drying sink.
It is. And it's got a dishwasher, which we don't need.
The actual construction of the boat is vinyl ester. Parts of it are foam, and most of it is balsa. So this is a wooden boat technically. It does have balsa pouring, not beneath the water line though.
What do you think about the escape hatches?
Well, no. I'm indifferent on the escape hatches. I know the new catamarans are being built without them because they were causing more problems than they were helping. It's not anything I would ever want to open myself. It's what if it doesn't seal back properly, and you see so many other boats on constantly sponging up water that seeps in around them. So I think if we had a boat with escape hatches, it would be okay as long as they were in good shape. And if we had a boat without escape hatches, I'd be okay with that too.
I mean, what's the likelihood we'll be in weather that will turtle our boat, our 50 to 65 foot catamaran?
Very, very low.
So.
Very low. That's why the new boats are coming out without them. They realized that the escape hatches were causing more problems than what they were hoping. Yeah. And I think, as we'll see in other boats coming up in the future, an escape hatch up on the bridge deck is not a terrible idea. It keeps it a few feet off the water rather than down at the waterline.
Right.
That's a lot of cushions.
Yeah.
These are the cushions for the cockpit, probably.
Yeah. It's kind of like a walk-thru step around, basically.
Oh, come on with me. Okay.
How do I open this up? Let me look in the head first. Okay. It's pull open doors. Oh, wow. That's a tiny shower. Which way does it close? Oh, tiny. That's okay. Hello. What's in there? Head.
So down here, because we didn't get to see, is the wash machine.
And that's a nice laundry folding table and stuff too.
And another refrigerator.
Okay. For a freezer?
Actually that might be the freezer.
Right.
So it was a very small refrigerator and freezer, which would not do for us.
These boats are geared towards charter industry being on board for 1 week.
That's true.
With ready accessibility, island to island, day to day.
Right. That's
stuff
true.
like that.
This is built with the beige interior.
Wait.
Lagoon does not offer this interior.
Is this a
well over 1,000 this style of interior?
Where are the lights?
It's a production boat. They are built to a price point. You can certainly see where you got where in office places.
So they close like this and then it's a wet head. I've never seen that before. No cabinets.
Does not seem to be standard.
Oh, they push in. That was scary. Do you want to go up? Yes, hold on. Don't step on this, it scared me. Come just creaked really loudly. Good thing this would be mommy's and daddy's room. And we had toilet right here.
So, I like the room. I like the room that's over there.
You do?
Yeah.
The owner's cabin had the biggest head,
Well, of course.
but if this was a 5-cabin layout, this head would be smaller, and there would be another head forward with
I think
the 2 cabins shared.
yeah, the 2 cabins share a head on the 5 cabin layout, I believe.
This is starboard forward. Mirrored the port forward.
It's a nice cabin.
It is. Not a whole lot of storage, but what can you do? You're on a boat.
Yeah. Well, not mine.
Well, yeah. Right.
Hi, Emma.
I know.
I'll take it. No, I'm holding it.
Nice little nav station.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be a good spot to monitor things if we ever got bad.
Sure.
I did not like the sugar scoops. The steps were too high in between, or how's it?
Yeah, too tall.
Too tall. As you'll see, maybe
Dinghy needs to be updated.
soon, Lucas almost fell off because there's no rails, and he like literally had to step up, knee to chest, to get up the last step of the sugar scoop. And we have 2 dogs, 2 very clumsy dogs, and I can just see them falling off quite a few times.
Wide decks, whatever it is.
Look what we found right here.
Nice.
Scuba gear.
Oh, I like the forward cockpit.
That has dive tanks and a air compressor
And a
inside
generator.
there, and a generator. It was a nice little storage area.
And I'm okay with forward cockpits. I'm not okay with forward facing doors.
Right.
Mama and Daddy. Oh, yes, I'll show you.
So here's the helm station,
Yeah.
which I don't care for,
The fly bridge.
the fly bridge. I would much prefer our helm station in the cockpit with the rest of the people.
I agree.
How do you say that?
Yeah.
Not separated, because if somebody's on watch and everybody else is hanging out, you know.
Yeah. Again, this is set up for the charter industry.
Right.
It gets it out of the way of entertaining and hanging out in the cockpit.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily what we're looking for.
And
The,
the reason the boom's so high is because of the bimini.
Well, it's for head clearance, so that the boom clears your head if you have to stand up or whatever, too. But a lot of the boats are crewed, and that gets the crew up sailing the boat while the passengers are enjoying the boat.
Yeah.
So it causes that separation that's intentional in some cases, but not ours.
camera.
Right now it's almost a bit too much of a beast. I've got, people that want to buy boats.
Twist your ankle and then fall over.
And, I've got...
You would do that.
Yeah.
I would too. Yeah.
There's a lot of people that
Right.
they don't want to buy because like the market's hot right now.
Fall in the water.
There you can see that step down from on the side deck.
Yeah, right there.
Ankle.
Zoe and Emma are commenting on it.
Ankle buster.
And the bottom lifeline is so high that if one of our dogs would, like Tiller, probably more so than Schooner, would slide off of there and slide right through the lifeline.
Up there, like at the ledge, we could twist our ankles off and fall over the lifeline. Okay, can I stop the video?
Yeah.
I think I've looked at everything.
Thank you.
Ankle goes here.
Can you climb down in there to work on it?
Let me tell you.
Probably be me.
Be real tight. So the engine rooms on this Lagoon 500 are very small. They have doors over the engines. They were Yanmars that flop down with insulation on them to help dampen the sound of the engines, which I understand and respect, and is probably very adequate for Caribbean and charter use. These engines were sail drives. I have no experience with sail drives, so that is something I will be learning about. If you have good or bad experiences with sail drives, also leave a comment. I'm a straight shaft kind of a guy, but if it's a sail drive, I'm not opposed to that as long as they are okay and in their own designated spaces so they can't flood if that big old seal decides to fail.
Right.
Another thing I've noticed on this Lagoon 500 is that the engine is aft of the rudder post. And I've never have I ever seen that before. I'm used to having prop wash moving across the face of the rudder to help with maneuvering. These engines are very far apart, the twin engines. I would expect you just keep the rudder centered and maneuver with the engines themselves if you're getting into tight spaces for that. I just don't know how it's going to track in channels and stuff like that without the prop wash moving across the rudders. So I'm interested in knowing what your thoughts are. No, there was two open on that side that were open when we got here.
Okay. What was your first impression walking up to the boat?
Wow. And then
And
we got to look at it a little bit closer.
Yeah.
So here's our pros and cons. You want to start with pros or cons?
a little bit of both.
Oh boy, you're trying to make this difficult. I'll never keep track. Too much going on up in here. All right. First impression of the boat when I walked up to the boat was I was happy with the size. I thought that the boat was large enough in its footprint with its 50-foot length and almost 30-foot beam, high 20s beam. So I thought that would be plenty of space to do what we need to do. But when I looked at the mast and the the main boom, and when I realized how far up off the deck it was, I just couldn't wrap my head around how that was a very good or efficient design. We all need to be able to handle the sails on board
Yes,
safely
absolutely.
in offshore conditions.
Yep. My next con is there's only one entrance to the cockpit. The pro of the cockpit was that it was a deep cockpit.
Yep.
I felt very comfortable for my kids, for our dogs, but there was only one entrance there was only one access in and out of the cockpit, other than stepping on the settees and climbing over. Plus, the cockpit was kind of small.
A little bit on the small side for a 50-foot boat.
For a 50-foot boat.
I think so.
Yep.
But the other nice thing in the cockpit was the wet bar.
That was nice.
Keeping that drink traffic out of the galley would be a big deal.
Yes.
And helping with traffic and the flow of things.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of the galley up.
Oh,
That was a pro.
galley up is a pro. Yep, it's you have your galley up design, you have your galley down design. Galley down, in my opinion, is a con for a family. Galley down for a charter boat is a pro. We're a family that wants to be traveling, and we don't want to be isolating anybody from any of the activities that are going on in the main salon or the cockpit area. So galley up is a pro.
Yes.
In our search for catamarans.
Yes. What about the fly bridge? Speaking of families and gathering.
Yet another way to separate your family from everything that's going on. Once again, flybridge in a crude charter situation can be great. It keeps all of the sailing operations separated from all of the entertaining operations. As a family traveling on a boat, we want everybody to be together. So we want our helm station to be at least more accessible to the cockpit than being on a whole separate deck with everything happening underneath your feet.
It's a safety issue for me.
Yep, you're above the lifelines.
Yes.
God forbid something happens where you lose your footing while you're up that high. Granted, it's a wide boat, but being up high above the lifelines, separated from everybody, it's a con.
Right. And going into footing, the deck, it did have a wide deck, which
wide
is good.
Side decks.
But it had this dip down that it's like scupper-like.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they did it.
Right. It's not a level deck. So there's a dip down to the lifeline stanchions, and that's ankle breaker.
Yeah.
We acknowledge it in our video and pointed out. I don't know why they built it like that.
I don't know why
that's
either.
Definitely a con.
It would have been much safer for Lagoon to carry those side decks all the way over to the edge where it transitions to the hull.
Yep.
It would have been and it's only a few inch reveal that we're talking about. So I don't know why, other than possibly shedding water away from the hatches so that you can use them. Maybe it's a Caribbean thing where it kept the water moving away from open hatches when they're sailing along. If they got a little spray over the bow, it channeled it away. But other than that, I can't see why they would have done it. It seems like it would break more ankles or sprain more ankles than it would cause.
And we know all about sprained ankles. This lagoon had stubby
sugar scoops.
No handrails. There were handles, but no rails going down. And in the video, you can see Lucas literally stepping up the sugar scoop, and his knee is at his chest trying to climb the stairs.
The tall stairs back there.
That's just, that's not good.
The forward cockpit. We got a forward cockpit and trampolines on this Lagoon 500.
Which is going to the pro.
It's going to the pro. It's in the pro column. It is nice to have a forward cockpit. It does provide a second sitting area, entertainment area. For us, we're going to be at anchor a lot of the time, most of the time. And I could see where the aft cockpit would be blocked by the cabin, the superstructure of the boat. So the forward cockpit would provide a nice place to hang out in a breeze, or separate from other things if there's different things going on board the boat. And it's also nice to have a place to sit up forward where you're not down on the trampoline or something like that.
If you're not a kid and you don't want to sit in the trampoline,
right. So it would be
the trampoline.
It would be a great place to enjoy frosty adult beverage at sunset.
Yes.
Otherwise known as
sundowners.
So I like that Lagoon doesn't put a door going from the main salon to the forward cockpit like some other manufacturers are doing. I'm not a fan of a forward opening door that allows, if you had some sort of, God forbid, a failure, that allows water to come into your main salon at deck level. I want that cockpit to fill up. I want the deck to fill up. I want it to try to get in. I don't want to just invite it in.
Right.
And I think a forward-facing door, even though they make them robust and everything else, I'm not a fan of forward-facing doors. I love seeing them on the sides of boats. I love seeing them on the back end of boats, but forward-facing has just always been something that I've steered away from.
Right. It felt production-like.
Yes, it did.
I know Lagoon's the biggest catamaran builder in the world right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I get that they mass produce these things, but this one felt
chintzy.
Yeah, it just there was something about it. The fit and finish was poor. Okay, but the pro was there was natural lighting. There was tons of natural lighting, which I love. So going through the boat, this was only a 4-cabin layout, which goes to the con. But we only got on board it to see the layout. This would be perfect for a family of this size.
Right.
But not for a family of... with the mission we have. We want a 5-cabin version. Or a 5-cabin layout. Which 5-cabin versions are available.
They are available.
So that's the pro to that con.
Right. So the 5-cabin vessels available is a good thing, and there's quite a few boats on the market, Lagoon 500s that we could go look at. But after seeing this one, I just don't think Lagoon's going to be staying on our list. It just didn't feel like it was going to support our mission the way we want it to.
Right. So a pro to the cabin situation is each cabin has its own ensuite. Or that could be a con.
Depending on if you're the one enjoying them or fixing them.
Right. So if we want 5 cabins, we're going to have to deal with 5 heads and then possibly a crew cabin and head. That's a lot of heads.
Yeah.
A lot of Are you willing to...
Well, I'll do what I need. I'll do what I need to do. But if we got a crew cabin with a head, they're gonna fix their own.
Okay, there you go.
Unless they need help.
And if the kids break theirs, they're gonna learn how to fix them so that they know to not break them in the future.
Yeah.
All right, machinery spaces. Well, this boat had terrible machinery spaces.
I couldn't even fit in the machinery space.
I don't think Lucas could.
Yeah.
It was that
He's
bad.
10.
Yes, it was that bad. The engines, I know we got into it, but the engines are showing the wear and tear, lack of maintenance, and I believe that a lot of it has to do with the poor access to the engines in the machinery space. I understand wanting to quiet it down, but I don't understand making it more difficult than it already is to do engine maintenance.
Right.
And I also understand that it's probably possible to remove that partition, but the damage is already done on this particular boat.
Yeah.
Sail drives after the rudders. I know we talked about sail drives already during the video. I've got this down as a con because I just don't know how it performs. I worry about maneuvering. I worry about how it's going to track. And I'm used to having that wheel wash flowing past the rudders when we have to motor.
Right.
So I don't know other boats that are doing this. I don't know why Lagoon is doing this. I mean, it would be It's got to be a design thing they had because they got that jockey bar that goes across from one side to the other, and it might have to do with those stubby sugar scoops that they have. So maybe they messed up and had to do it backwards instead of redesigning everything. Who knows? But
Yeah.
that's
We'll find out.
yeah.
That's for sure.
Sail drives after the rudders is a con for me because it is just so backwards from everybody else.
So those are our pros and cons of the Lagoon 500. If you have your own pros and cons of the Lagoon 500 of any version, please comment below. We love to hear your comments. And if you have any answers to our questions that we put out there throughout the video, we'd love to hear those too.
If you have any questions about what we went over in this video, don't hesitate to comment below and we'll do our best to answer them.
And don't forget, if you like what you saw, hit the like button, subscribe like you'll hear Lucas and Emma say, and tap the notification bell to get notified when we post this video.
Oh yeah! TTFN!
If you like what you see, go ahead and smash the subscribe button.
No, don't smash it. Click it. And tap the notification bell so you get notified when we post our videos.
Oh yeah!